A few months ago, we decided to challenge ourselves at the studio, to push our boundaries and to really show to clients and people what we can do in terms of production. So today we're going to share you the case study of Rose Iceland, a project that is super important for us because thanks to this project, we win a Site of the Day on awards and also being nominated as a Website of the Month. So this is one of our best case study. Today we're gonna talk about the whole process from the beginning till the end and to all what we've been through. But first, let's give a little bit of context and why we create this project. Actually, it's pretty simple. I wanted that for the first time we create and implement some 3D in one project to create an immersive experience and something unique, because at the studio we like to create unique website, and implementing 3D really increase the sensation and the experience, and after it's something that we can propose to future clients, and also it's a good way to show to clients what we can do. So that's why I wanted to do this perfect project. Okay, so now we know what we want to do, but also I needed a subject. And one day I watched a movie on Netflix called Rose Iceland. It's an incredible story of an engineer, an Italian engineer who created his own platform overseas from the Italian coast, and he created his own nation on this platform with flags, with stamps. I mean, a real nation, you know. So when I see this, I say, my God, it's an incredible story to tell in a one-page website. So I didn't think so much, and I said, okay, let's do this. And also was the perfect project because the platform is not so complicated to build in 3D. It's rectangle, cylinders, and I think we're not gonna have so much difficulty to build this. We're gonna have difficulty in other things, but at least to build the structure, we can do it pretty easily. So that's why this subject was perfect. So I wanted to tell this story and create this website like if it was a side website from the Netflix movie, like a website to promote the movie on Netflix, telling a little bit about the story, show some archive images and more elements, more context to the story. Talking about 3D, I'm not gonna be alone in this project. I needed my teammate Maël to help me on this. And we're gonna team up on this project. I'm gonna take care of the design, and Maël gonna take care about the 3D and also build a website on Webflow. So now we can start the project. Before to start the project, we needed to find a goal. What was the goal of this page? And how we gonna structure this page? And it was pretty easy because what we wanted to do is tell this story. So we needed to start from the beginning till the end, from the construction of the platform till the destruction of the platform by the Italian army. And telling all this story, we will include some 3D elements, some archive images, some pictures also, assets, for example, the stamps, and we're gonna need to do some research about this nation. Also, before start to design, we needed to list all the assets that we have in our hand, because it's a story that happened almost 50 years ago. So there is not a lot of assets online. There is some images, some stamps, some elements from the nation identity, but there is not so many things. And I didn't want to use images from the movie because I didn't want to spoil people. And I wanted that the website can work even if you don't see the website. This was important for me. That's why it was the perfect subject, because we didn't have a lot of assets to use. And that's why 3D was super important in this case, because we could recreate something that we didn't have, to recreate the platform, because we have few pictures from the platform, but not so much asset. Also in this case, AI was our best ally, because all the photo we find online was really, the quality was not good. So we use a tool from ClipDrop who denoise and upscale the pictures. Finally, all the assets that we found could be used and we can play with, because now they are in super good quality. Talking about assets, there is also something I knew I'm gonna use. Is the Typeface Cavalcanti by Brian Powell. I don't know if it's Brian Brian, sorry for that. It was the perfect font for me. I follow him on Twitter, and meanwhile I was thinking to this project, he released this typeface, and I said, what's the perfect typeface for me? Because there is an Italian vibe, a Mediterranean vibe on this font, but it's not neither cliche, you know. So it was perfect for me to use this typeface and to mix with another typeface more classic, like we will see in the future, to give this editorial style, but also to give something, a Mediterranean identity to the website. So I keep this typeface and I'm gonna be sure I'm gonna use it for the future. Now that I have few assets, we can start to think about the concept. As I say, the goal is to tell the story about the platform from the construction till the destruction. So this was the base of my narration on my page. And I knew that I wanted to start the website with the 3D of the platform, because finally it's the main character of the movie. Even if there is the engineer, these friends, and more characters, finally the main character that never move is the platform. And this is where happened everything. So for me, the platform was the base of the subject and is where everything happened. So I wanted to create a 3D of this platform, and we can turn around and we discover more in details every aspect of this platform. And this will be an introduction of the story. So I recorded a loom to Maël to explain my idea. Actually, it was a pretty basic loom. I said, look, Maël, I have this idea. I want to recreate this platform in 3D the most realistic way possible. And I want that when we scroll, we turn around the platform and we discover more in detail all the side from the platform, and that after the camera go under the sea, and after we jump and we discover the whole story. And now I'm gonna let Maël explain the 3D phase. But before that, if you like our channel and you like the content we propose, please drop a comment below this video and like the video, and also subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot for people discover more and more what we do. So thanks a lot for that.
So while Alex was designing the website, I started creating the 3D scene, and the process was quite simple. And before going in Blender, we needed to get reference images. And the platform in real life didn't look like the one in the movie, and we wanted ours to look like the one in the movie. Once we had enough images, we were able to create the structure in Blender. And it's kind of funny because I was really dreading this part, because modeling such a big structure seemed kind of intimidating, but at the end the forms and the geometries were quite simple and it wasn't that hard. And the hardest part was getting the proportions of the platform right. So yeah, we have our model. We can now add some light and create some textures. We wanted to have a realistic lighting, and to do that we used an environment texture. It was just a matter of finding the right one, and surprisingly the one that worked best is the one we least expected to. So now that we have our light, we can create our textures. And we wanted to create a concrete material with some imperfections. And to do that, we created a procedural material on Blender. And I found it super hard to do. I had to watch a ton of tutorials on YouTube. But we eventually found something that we liked and that was working for the platform and the scene we wanted to do. So yeah, we are almost done in Blender. The last thing we need to do before moving to Webflow is to export everything. So we need to unwrap our geometries and to bake our textures.
Meanwhile, Maël was building the platform in Blender. I needed to create a zoning to know all what's gonna happen in this page and how I'm gonna tell the whole this story, because I knew that I'm gonna start by this 3D scene, and that after I needed to create an introduction about the story, and after that to explain more stuff about the story. Who built this, where it was, how they built it, the intention of Giorgio, the plan, how about the nation, the destruction, and finally a CTA phase to bring people to go to watch the movie on Netflix. Now the zoning is done, let's jump into the design phase. I wanted to give an editorial style to this website. To give an historical approach based on this wish, I needed to stay simple in terms of color. A range of beige, white broken, and a main color remind the identity of Rose Island. If you check the Rose Island identity, about the nation identity, it's based on orange. The flag is orange. In the stamps, you can find some orange. Even if the name is Rose, the main identity is based on orange. This was my palette of colors. A main orange and few color like white broken, beige, gray, like a color that gonna let the assets talk. Now it was time to play and create some layout. I want that every section become a poster. So for it, I needed to play with layout using typeface, assets, colors. And talking about the typeface, I knew that I have the Canva Conti, but I needed to find a secondary typeface to balance with this really creative typeface. And for that, I use the Swiss font, which is a really beautiful and elegant font which can be used for read paragraph to be in addition of the Canva Conti. As you can see, for example, in the titles. I also like to give a rhythm to a page. That's why, because the hero section was a crazy animation, a crazy 3D animation when we scroll in the view, I wanted that after this section, the second section, will be a calm section where you know that you can rest your eyes, and that's why I like to have some moment where a lot of things happen. I like to have calm moment, and after like that you can restart a more experimental section and with some animation. And giving this rhythm, you appreciate more when there is animation, because if you are finally overwhelmed by animation, you don't appreciate it and your eyes are overwhelmed and the experience finally is not really cool, So that's why the second section is pretty calm and is giving an introduction about Giorgio and the whole story. And that's why after that, the third section, I could play with this parallax and some archive images to show more stuff about the story. And like that, giving this rhythm, we can appreciate the images. And just after this section, another moment of calm where you have a text center that you can read peacefully. But even this piece of text is a part of a bigger section that I imagine like a poster with this big picture from the platform, because even if we have the 3D of the platform at the beginning, I wanted a real picture from the platform for people really know that this story was true. And after that, a quiet section where you can rest, but also you can feel with the plan that we show that this idea came up from an engineer. So everything have a purpose. Talking about typeface, I just use the Canva Conti to create main title. Like that, after with the Swiss, I can play and create more creative layout. Also, telling this story, I really wanted that we knew that Giorgio Rosa created the whole identity of this nation. So that's why I start this section with mixing the Canva Conti with the flag of this nation. Like that, it gives an introduction to the nation's assets. Also for the destruction section, I wanted that we feel that it came up from a movie. That's why I wanted this sticky effect to do like a diapositive effect, like we see the image step frame by frame, clack, 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 and we see step by step the destruction phase. So here everything have a purpose. The animation, the way we set and we create the layout, everything is super important. And for the final section, I wanted to display some images from the movie, like if it was frame by frame from the movie. That's why I create this grid with this parallax when we see some images from the movie, but not so much for don't spoil neither. And all these images bring to the final CTA to bring the people to watch the trailer and discover more about this incredible story and watch the movie on Netflix. So as you can see, animation have also a big part in this website. For me, animation is able to say stuff that we can't say in text or with images or 3D. So this is super important. And also all the animation have a purpose. And for me, I'm a big fan of scroll animation, because for me it's the most easy and understandable for everybody, that you are young, old, that you are the habit to use a computer or mobile or not. You just need to scroll, that is on mobile or with your computer. You just need to scroll and let you trap by the story. So for me, this is super important. That's why we almost just use scroll animation in this website. And the goal is that everything happen in every section, to highlight some title, to highlight some images, to show some details about the nation, about the platform. That's why we, in the 3D, you have also this scroll animation to discover and see every side of the platform. Also with the over CTA, when you hover the CTA, you have a remind of the 9 pillars from the platform. And also you can see this with the loader when you load the page. And that's why everything have a purpose, and because everything have a purpose and everything is synced, it gives a global coherence to everything. And that's why it's people like having the page, because we've been deeply in details, and every aspect we been thinked. So for me this is super important, and that's why I like website with purpose. And also we recreated some Easter eggs to go deeply in interaction. When you hover the main image from the platform, you can have access to the playlist from the movie, or when you connect at different time in the website, you can see that the 3D in the hero section, the sky from the 3D is changing. You have the morning, midday, afternoon, and night. This was about the design phase, and now I'm gonna let Maël explain the development phase on Webflow and how he implements 3GS on Webflow.
That's it, we can now play with 3GS and Webflow. And to use 3GS in Webflow, I used a method that I showed in a previous video. So I'm going to link it in the description, and I'm not going to go too much into details in this video on how to use, because I'll make a tutorial video in the coming weeks, I think. So yeah, we can see that we have our model in 3GS. It's not looking that good, unfortunately. We can see that there's a lot of imperfections. The concrete material is looking more like paper than real concrete. But before doing any modifications, we wanted to add the sea and the sky to have a sense of what the scene would look like. And to get the sea and the sky, we used some code we found on 3GS, and we played around with it and worked from it. Yeah, we can see again the first try is really looking weird. The colors are off. The sea is looking kind of weird. The sky as well. So we had to try a lot of different things. We made a really bad choices. Well, I made really bad choices for a while, but we eventually found something that was working for us, and from then we could go back to Blender, rework the textures, the colors, and the lights. And it was the hardest part and the longest part of the 3D phase to find exactly the colors we wanted, the textures we wanted, and yeah. But yeah, by trying different things, going back and forth with Alex, we got something that we liked. I think this is looking good. So the platform is, I think, nice. I think the sea is looking good, the sky as well. So yeah, we were happy with that. And the last part was to animate it. And we wanted to create kind of a cinematic animation when the user arrives on the page. So with a big zoom, with a big camera movement, zooming on the platform. We also added a scrolling effect with the camera going below sea level when the user scroll past the hero section. And yeah, that was it for the 3D part. The last thing we had to do was to build the page and animate it. And building the page in Webflow was pretty straightforward. Yeah, there's not a lot of things to say about it. And the technical part of the animations wasn't that complicated either. So we used CheeseApp to create the scrolling animations because it was easier for us to use CheeseApp than native animations. And the real challenge, I think, was to create animations that served the purpose of the website, meaning that the goal of this website is to tell the story of Rose Island, and Alex did the work during the design process, but now I had to create an enjoyable scrolling experience so that the user wants to keep scrolling the page. So that was what we tried to do, and at the end I think that Alex and I are happy with it.
And that's it. We share you all the steps to create this website that for us is really important because it brings us a lot of visibility. That's why it's always cool to create a side project, because in side project you really can push your boundaries without give you any limits. So that's why it was super important for us to do that. And with this, it brings us the possibility to reach new clients and to really be discovered by a lot of people. And side project is a really good way to reach your dream clients. But this we will talk in another video. Let us know if you like this kind of video case study, because we have more projects, so we can do more video case study. If you have any question, drop your question in comments. And if you like the video, subscribe to the channel, like that you can see the next video. Thanks again for watching the video, and see you soon. Bye.